Hi there, and welcome to She Spice. Joe Rogan has forever been vocal about the obscure side of Hollywood and how it renounces its entertainers after they will not adjust to its methodologies, and it appears he may be right, so we should view 7 entertainers who got renounced by Hollywood at the levels of their vocations. Sylvester Stallone, how about we be practical to hear you can't wipe the slate clean with somebody? It has been not terrible, but not great, either detestable as I would see it. So awful. Stallone featured in verse Michael B. Jordan in Statement of Faith and Doctrine 2 in any event, procuring an Oscar selection for supporting entertainer because of his part in the 2015 first portion. However, what stunned many was Stallone's non-appearance from Statement of Faith 3. While Ruff's name gets nommed 2 or multiple times in the content, his whereabouts are never made sense of. Stallone's non-attendance in Belief 3 denoted the first time in quite a while and for 47 years that a film in the Ruff movie establishment didn't highlight Ruff Boa, the explanation for Stallone's flight, loved Statement of Faith 3's imaginative course, and his conflict against long-lasting establishment maker. Irwin Winkler. Belief 3, pre-arranged by Keenan Coogler and Zach Balland from a story they concocted with unique Doctrine chief Ryan Coogler, is a far hazier interpretation of the elevating Ruff establishment as per movie pundits. Belief the 3 was a games show that feels more like a Cape Dread-roused thrill ride than a conventional Ruff film that is remorseful on the grounds that I understand everything it might have been. Stallone said about contradicting the spin-off's tone. It was steered toward a path that is very unique in relation to what I would have taken. It's an alternate way of thinking. Irwin Winkler's and Michael B. Jordan's. I hope everything turns out great for them. However, I'm considerably more of a sentimentalist. I like my legends getting beat up, yet I simply don't need them going into that dull space. I feel individuals have sufficient dimness at any rate. Stallone's conflict with Winkler was a much greater justification for his non-appearance in Doctrine 3, so large that it could mean Stallone at absolutely no point ever plays Ruff in the future. The two have long fought over privileges in the Ruff establishment, which Winkler has claimed since the 1976 Oscar-winning Stallone gullibly sold Winkler the freedoms such a long time ago, when he was a striving entertainer. Furthermore, he was obviously uninformed about the establishment potential for the person addressing Sirius XM. Jessica Shaw. In November 2022, Stallone said it was a harsh, profound ride, cutting binds with the Ruff establishment for Belief 3. The entertainer added that he expected to do so in light of the fact that you can't reconcile with somebody who's been not terrible but not great either, as I would see it. Stallone was alluding to Winkler. Obviously, Stallone previously focused on his disdain over the Ruff freedoms in a 2019 meeting with Assortment, despite the fact that he procured net focuses on the first film, which cost simply more than $1 million to create and net $225 million worldwide, and got first dollar gross on the early continuations. Stallone doesn't keep up with the freedoms of the characters I have no responsibility for. Stallone told me that Assortment at the time each word, each syllable, and each linguistic mistake was all my shortcoming. It was stunning that it never became, yet I was told, hello, you got compensated, so what are you griping about? I was enraged that the conflict between Stallone and Winkler over Ruff freedoms was reignited in 2022. Stallone distributed an Instagram post in July highlighting a representation of Winkler as a blade-tonged snake and an extremely complimenting picture of the incomparable Ruff doctrine maker, Irwin Winkler, from one of the country's most prominent. Stallone wrote in the subtitle, Irwin has been controlling Ruff for more than 47 years and presently believes I truly would like to have, to some extent, a tad bit of what's left of my privileges back prior to giving them to just your kids. I accept that would be a fair signal from this 93-year-old man of his word, half a month after the fact that MGM declared it was fostering another Ruff side project film focused on the Drago family. Dolph Lundgren featured as Ruff's Russian opponent, Ivan Drago, in Ruff 4, while Florian Montu appeared as Ivan's child in Belief 2. Roberton was recruited to pen the content. Stallone stood up freely against the side project and said he was never told about its advancement. Another heartbreaker just found this out by this unfortunate 94-year-old maker and his bonehead pointless vulture youngsters. Charles and David are by picking up the bones of one more brilliant person I made without letting me know. Stallone composed on Instagram. I am sorry to the fans. I never maintained that rough characters should be taken advantage of by these parasites in the manner in which I have only regard for Dolph, yet I wish he had let me know what was happening behind my back. Stallone added at the time, keep your genuine companions close. Carl Climates perpetually scratched in true life memory as the dauntless Apollo belief exemplified the model of the activity legend. Anyway, underneath the facade of progress lay a story of control and botched open doors. Climates ended up shackled to jobs that neglected to take advantage of his full reach as an entertainer because of an industry anxious to take advantage of his genuineness for benefit, in spite of endeavors to break free from this stifling mold with projects like Activity Jackson and the forgettable television series Fortune. Dane Climates remained trapped as a casualty of Hollywood's penchant for simple classification. In the meantime, dark entertainers like Denzel Washington with key moves and chameleon-like capacities arose as an encouraging sign in the midst of the business dinky waters. Washington would not be restricted by slender marks. Deftly exploring between classes with artfulness, from comedic excursions like Duplicate to burning dramatizations like Brilliance, Washington's collection displayed his refusal to be confined to a daring the resistance of an industry hellbent on type projecting, yet hiding underneath the outer layer of Washington's prosperity lies an upsetting truth. The business-specific hug of specific stories and personas, while Washington's multi-layered ability procured him honors and film industry greatness, one can't overlook the framework Mike predispositions at play. Washington's more extensive allure, especially among female crowds, without a doubt played a part in his transient ascent. A helpful story for an industry anxious to keep up with the norm, the glaring error in the gathering of their particular feature vehicles further uncovered Hollywood's whimsical nature. Climate's aggressive undertaking activity, Jackson wallowed in the midst of lukewarm surveys and dull film industry returns, consigning him to the sidelines. Conversely, Washington's movies can reliably find favor with crowds and pundits, a confirmation not exclusively of his ability but additionally of the business eagerness to support specific accounts over others. TV2 filled in as a landmark in the battle for acknowledgement and significance. Climate's irregular introduction to the little screen yielded blended results featuring the business hesitance to completely embrace his ability past temporary snapshots of progress in the meantime. Washington's concise dialogue with TV in Saint Somewhere Else filled in as a simple commentary in his renowned lifetime, a demonstration of his capacity to rise above the limits forced by an industry rife with predispositions and biases, yet in spite of everything. Carl Climates wasn't one to sit by and watch different entertainers get boycotted by the businesses you see. Previous Mandalorian vet Gina Carano received extensive and warm recognition for her kindred Disney, in addition to Star Wars series co-star Carl Climates on Instagram. Canano, who was not invited back for The Mandalorian or some other Star Wars spin-off following questionable examinations in February 2021 about a separation from Nazi Germany, said that Climates called me straightforwardly after I was terminated. Carano played Abundance Tracker Karan for 2 seasons on The Mandalorian, while weather conditions depicted Abundance Tracker Specialist turned later High Judge of Navarro Sadness. Karga Climates likewise coordinated 9 episodes of The Mandalorian and was designated as a visitor entertainer in a show series for the 2020 episode, Part 12, The Attack. I wasn't in a close-to-home state where I could get the telephone as a result of how upset I was. Nevertheless, we wound up talking later on. She expounded on hearing from Climates post her Disney excusal. He was delicate and empowering and didn't believe I should surrender. He was telling me that he wasn't discarding me, he was attempting to keep my expectations alive in a seemingly very miserable situation. He showed me he was minded, that is the kind of person he was. I reinforced with him intently on Mando Seasons 1 and 2 by Carano. Jon Favreau felt he would be a decent coach for me since we shared the competitor-turned-entertainer bond, so Jon had him direct my most memorable episode in Season 2 of Mando. I accept that had we gotten to Officers of the New Republic, Carl would have guided me in significantly more. John F. was correct, we were an extraordinary fit. Carl was a tutor to me on set. He would put the 2 of his arms on my shoulders and look at me straightforwardly without flinching to quiet my soul. She clarified that he had a magnificent point of view for recounting a story that could get through his experience and the shrewdness that he imparted to me to assist with making me sparkle. I value those minutes. Wesley Kills was the one who completely possessed the 9S with his K exhibitions and flicks like New White Men Can't Hop and The Cutting Edge Set of 3. This person had charm for quite a long time and an energy on screen that was simply next level anyway. His Hollywood process veered off in a strange direction when he wound up ensnared in a serious tax avoidance case spanning from 1999 to 2001, during which he purportedly evaded paying a faltering $7 million in charges. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.